Hello and welcome. Welcome to the All Hearts on Deck Awakened Activism virtual sitting. I'm Margit Bantowsky, and co-leading this sitting with me today is Laura Wittke. The two of us are both interning teachers with the Trillium Awakening spiritual path. Our topic today is love in action, the fire at the heart of service. Laura and I will each be presenting a bit of material on this topic, and we'll include some contemplation. At the end, there will be some journaling questions. We have 3 questions for you, so you may want to have a piece of paper and a pen handy for the final questions at the end. Thank you. And so Laura, we'll have you start us off.
Thanks, Margit. I am now fumbling just a little bit. I had something prepared, but now I can't seem to minimize my window properly in order to see it. Aha! There we go. Okay. Thank you, dears. Thank you, everybody, for being in our inaugural initial sitting. I'm so happy that you're here. Those of you here today and those listening to the recording, I've prepared a little meditation, and it's related to allowing the shift to effortlessness, partly because when the mind is in the head, effortlessness sounds corny or even ridiculous. And since we know how much hard work is involved in whatever path that we're following, that we're embarking on, but if you follow me after the shift or drop into the heart, then we know by the warmth and ease what we mean by effortlessness. Then we can go on to do things that, of course, require effort, but it's not the striving kind of effort. The Buddhists talk about this a lot, and pre-second birth, pre-whole being realization. I thought it sounded like a lot of hooey. I also have a quote for you. This is from a book called Living Presence, written by Kabir Helminski, and it's quoted in Cynthia Bourgeau's book, several of Cynthia Bourgeau's books. I'm going to read to you. We have subtle subconscious faculties that we are not using. Beyond the limited analytic intellect is a vast realm of mind that includes psychic and extrasensory abilities, intuition, wisdom, a sense of unity, aesthetic, qualitative and creative faculties, and image forming and symbolic capacities. Though these faculties are many, we give them a single name with some justification, for they are working best when they are in concert. They comprise a mind, moreover, in spontaneous connection to the cosmic mind. This total mind we call heart. So, that said, to start, we're going to sit a few minutes and do a meditation to allow the quality of mind to drop into our heart. Let this be an experiment. Anything that happens is okay. No need to concentrate too hard. Allow the process to be effortless. Now, please close your eyes. Take a deep breath in with a smile, and then let go and relax into the field of us sitting together. Take another deep breath in, and relax and let go. With each breath in and out, your mind and body relax even more. Allow your mind to settle down now. Imagine, with your next breath, the quality of mind and knowing is traveling downwards. We usually locate this quality of mind in our heads. Allow this mind to slowly drop down into your heart. With the mind approaching the heart, even if you don't feel your mind is fully settled in your heart, that's okay. The heart is a special organ that acts as an antenna. When the mind nears the heart, you may begin to feel the pulse of being. You can begin to feel how we are connected to everyone and everything. Let yourself rest here for a few moments, breathing in and breathing out. If you like, you can even imagine that your heart has nostrils that you are breathing with. Now, resting here, we may find it easier to connect to a deep feeling sense of purpose. We are aligned. We feel more and more aware when prompts of being come, and we are able to act on them. Take a few more deep, relaxing breaths. We now know that we can come back to this place whenever we want. Now, let's take a slow, deep breath in and breathe out as you become aware of your whole body. And now as you take another slow, deep breath in and out, become aware of the room around you and the presence of the group. As we come back to everyday awareness, we can allow our mind center to remain in the heart for a while. Now, slowly and gently, open your eyes and allow the visual field to come into focus. Ding!
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Are we back in the room? Good. It's your turn, Margit.
Thank you, Laura. That was wonderful. And so even though Laura is passing the talking stick to me, I invite all of us to continue allowing our mind, quality of mind, to rest in the heart, to center our sense of being from the heart. So from there, listening to the words that I'm about to share, letting that organ of perception hear these ideas and what's in between the words as well. So, as most of you already have experienced, unless you're really new to this work, that the awakening process, part of what happens is we become less defended, which is wonderful. There's more spaciousness and availability to meet life. But part of that dissolving of defenses also makes us more sensitive to suffering, opening to the suffering around us. Some people call this poignancy, the heartbreak or the experience of being permeable to what we see around us, both the beauty and the suffering. So we're more opened up, and that happens through green lighting. So this capacity to consciously be with our experience, be with compassion. We start by offering that to ourselves, but then that becomes available to others. So this willingness to be with this, it's like a capacity, a muscle capacity to be with discomfort, to be with the suffering that we practice as green lighting over time becomes a natural orientation to those around us, both human and non-human beings. And even just right now in this moment, allowing yourself to really be living in the heart, sensing your mind and beingness as resting in the heart with consciousness and a natural compassion. You might notice that there's no bounds to it. There's no edges, that this awareness and the organ of the heart actually has the capacity to hold it all. It holds all of a being, the complete spectrum. And you could say that the ache in the heart, our heartbreak as we turn towards what looks like suffering and what is suffering, is evidence of the magnitude of love, right? If we didn't care, it wouldn't hurt so much, right? So the heartbreak is evidence of the magnitude of our love. So it's a good thing. Like Joanna Macy says, one of the most dangerous things in these times is to be shut down in our feeling. Our heartbreak has intelligence, there's wisdom in it, there's creativity in it. So, Trillium prepares us, I think, really well to be love in action. And there's a burn involved. So part of the title of the talk is The Fire at the Heart of Service. So in whole being realization, there's the recognition that we're boundless. And over time, the recognition that we're boundless love. And at the same time, we're an organism that's limited. We need sleep, we need rest, we need connection, we need play, food, all the chop wood, carry water aspects of being incarnated in a limited fleshy body. So our ability to address the suffering will always fall short. So our consciousness and the deep core of our heart is unbounded, and yet we are bounded. We're limited in our ability to respond. And that's one way of looking at the core wound. That's a dimension of the core wound. So just bringing that into the discussion, that this burn of capacity to love and being limited to respond will never really go away. That's just part of the burn of the core wound of incarnation in this time. And although it's painful, it's ultimately a source of sustainable capacity to respond intelligently and creatively to life. So think of this love, this upwelling of compassion at the core of what it means to be divinely human, as actually oil in a lamp. If we are going to continue to serve, we need to replenish and have fuel to take action. And this love can be a great source of fuel. In contrast, anger is fiery. You might get some stuff done, but there can be a lot of burnout and cynicism that comes from anger. Fear can be debilitating. I'm not negating any of these feelings. We embrace them and integrate them, but I'm naming them as sources of ongoing action. They're not really very sustainable. Guilt is also in that category. So thinking of how a mother or a parent, father, caring for a child, that love is always there. You rub up against their limitations, but that source of movement is always possible. And cœur is heart in French, so it's the source of courage. So this place of being located in our hearts is really an important capacity. So I love Laura's invitation to drop here and feel it. And, what does it mean to be love in action from this place? Another part of the fire and burn is that this capacity to be less defended and open to others means that we're also becoming more open to seeing how we impact them negatively. So there's a burn in the awakening of saying, oh my God, what I'm doing affects you. So it's the fire of mutuality, really, that love burns us in as we are less defended and more open to suffering and seeing our part in it. So one way to practice is in our immediate circle, staying grounded in our heart and responding to others with love. So can we listen through love? Can we speak through love? And we can just practice that, begin to practice that with how we listen and speak to ourselves and then to those immediately around us. So that's some simple things, but I want to, for a moment, drop down even more fundamentally. So again, going to where Laura just took us, allowing the sense of your center of gravity to be in the heart, this quality of mind and knowing and intelligence being located in the heart. And resting in consciousness, the open field of being. Sensing that your heart is actually the center of the heart of being, your personal heart, being the center of the heart of all being. And in this spacious awareness and landedness in the heart of being, I invite you to sense into the world. And you can start by the town you're in and making that grow further and further until it includes the whole world. And including means registering, letting your heart register, your heart of being register the whole world, the beauty and the suffering, the horror and imagination. So this particular burn, this particular heart ache in the center of being as we witness material dimension of being could be considered the most essential form of prayer. This is considered potentially subtle activism where our heart and awareness is softened to include the whole field of being. And as we allow our hearts to break, that is the essence of prayer. This is the fire in the heart of service on a global scale. And now we're going to go from global to specific. I invite you to allow yourself to sense some specific forms of suffering that are particularly poignant for you. For whatever reason, they're unbearable or just, I can't believe this is part of reality. It's just so much. So there might be multiple of these places. It could be a group of people. It could be a species. It could be a collection of species like an ecosystem, or it could be part of our earth like a river or a mountain or a prairie or something. So I'm going to take a moment in silence and just invite your heart to register the particular forms of suffering that it's most affected by. You might get some images or a phrase. If you feel moved, you can jot a couple notes down on a piece of paper, because we're going to go to a slightly different question now. So that was the heartbreak, letting your heart register the specific heartbreaks that are part of your thumbprint, part of your uniqueness, the way your organism is wired to respond, just noticing those hot spots. And now we're going to shift to another quality of the heart, which is love. What do you love to do? What activities light you up? I know we're shifting a little bit, but this is about, passion and delight and what brings your organism joy. And your heart has this intelligence. The heart knows that. What makes you feel alive? This is part of the fire in the heart of service. What is your joy? And it could be, it doesn't have to make sense. Where you feel good or at ease, or there's yeah, this is me. This is me being at home, doing my thing. It could be hosting gatherings or writing poetry or cooking food or connecting people or organizing ideas. So just let some of those bubble into awareness. The fire of loving certain activities. You can jot that down. And I'm going to give you one more question, and then I will close the meditation, the recording, but then you can take some time to do some more reflection on your own. So the third question for you is, how might just letting the mind be playful, letting the heart be playful, letting the imagination be playful, how might these be combined. The source of joy in action, love in action, what you love to do, the actions that you love, be combined with those things that you love, whose suffering breaks your heart. So those are the three questions. What's the deepest, poignant heartbreaks? What do you love to do? What makes you feel alive? And how might they come together? I'm going to end the recording now. Thank you for joining us. Blessings on your inquiry and on your great heart and showing up for this consideration.